All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And today I have the pleasure of talking with Mr. Andrew Hall, but you can call him Andy, like I said in the description below. And also, there are multiple links to help support Andrew if you want to. He's also got his Pathos blog down there. You can follow him on Facebook under Laughing in Disbelief or under his personal. I've got his Twitter there. I got the Laughing in Disbelief page down there. I've got his Patreon down there. And I've got his Teespring merch link down there. So check them all out, because Andrew's a great guy. I've been watching him on hello, Chris, in the chat. I see you there. I've been watching him on Chris's show as a co-host for many months now. So and we've been talking about doing this, and finally I was like, fuck, I haven't done this yet. Let's get it done.
Yeah,
Anyways,
dude. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's awesome having you on. So we're going to get right into this. What I usually do here is I talk to people about their journeys away from their belief systems or faiths or whatever they may be. Hell, I mean, if you believe Bigfoot is real, we'll talk about that. But anyway, that's a whole other ball of wax. But anyways, or ball of fur, I should say.
Right.
But, we'll get into the deconversion. So let's talk about when you sort of first realized that this stuff was nonsense and how those dominoes fell that led you to becoming the atheist that you are today.
Well, once again, thanks for having me on the show. I think my journey is very similar to a lot of people's journey. And before I start off, Neil, what's the official policy on cursing or?
Oh, fuck! Come on, seriously? It's YouTube.
All right,
we can we just may not get monetized. That's all.
Okay. So
there's a super chat button, so it makes up for the lack of monetization.
Awesome. So, I was brought up in a Baptist household up in the Boston area. I'd say it's the Boston area, but it's like south of Boston. And,
okay. How come you don't have that accent? Like, hey, park my car.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. One, I get the accent a lot more when I'm drunk, and I am stone sober after.
Well, you're drinking coffee.
I am drinking coffee.
Nothing like a wide awake drunk.
Yes. There's nothing more exciting than a dry drunk. Yes, nothing more exciting. All right, so now I got myself together. But yeah, the reason why I don't have the accent as much as a lot of people from Boston. See, a little bit of Boston came out there. Is that I had speech therapy when I was a kid, and so I had. I had speech therapy for a couple of years, and so I pronounce my R's more than most Bostonians, but other people will recognize the fact that I do have an accent from the area. Yeah.
I bet people from Boston can hear it.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, people can hear it.
And by the way, I'm back in 2011, your team beat my team for the Stanley Cup, and I was very angry, just so you know.
Well, Boston, Boston is pretty much, we punch above our weight, don't we? We punch above our weight in terms of sports teams.
Yeah. But hey, I was a Boston fan many years ago when you guys stole Cam Neely from us. So.
Oh, Cam. Yeah. Well, we've been known to do underhanded things. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think we can all do that.
Right. So, I was brought up in a Baptist household. My mother was a church organist and choir director. My dad was a deacon. And so I was in it to win it. To win God's grace, the love, the adoration, whatever that puppy dog, rainbow, whatever that was, I wanted a slice of that pretty hard. And so,
they do make it sound good, right? So,
they do make it sound good. Funny, horrible story is that when I think they start telling kids around 6 about the whole crucifixion thing, right? Mm-hmm. And they get into the whole torture, snuff porn aspect of it. And being a sensitive child, I just bawled my eyes out in Sunday school. I just I was not able, because you're talking about a guy who's getting crucified and they show pictures and everything. It's like, why would you show a 6-year-old that kind of material? So my mother had to come in from choir practice and calm my gentle nerves. Because you might find this surprising. I've always been somewhat of a high-strung kid.
I never would have guessed.
Would never have guessed it.
Me too, though. But and they always blamed it on sugar back in the day. And I actually got put on Ritalin, I think.
Really? Huh?
But yeah. Right. My mom put me on Ritalin for not very long. And of course, they were always saying how Ritalin could lead to memory loss and stuff like that. And that's true, but I don't really see much of that, except when I'm trying to remember something.
Right.
And I just had the thought in my where'd it go?
Nice.
It fell down the little memory hole, or for some reason, I'm
Sure.
not sure.
Well, you know,
Fuck you, Ritalin!
at a certain point, you can start attributing it to senior moments. At least that's what I've been doing. When the word just disappears out of my head, it just like, I'm just going to say I'm 51, soon to be 52. And so is my CPU really expected to work as well as it did? No,
it's like fifth generation or something. And now they're up to like generation 10, right?
Yeah.
And I'm 53, so I'm right there with you, man.
Okay. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, I had this epiphany the other day too, that I think classic Star Trek helped me with my deconversion experience, along with Cosmos, of course. But with Star Trek, you know, and traditional science fiction, you know, you think about the Star Trek Enterprise, and they were going to all these different planets where there are these gods, Greek gods, would-be gods. And what are they? They're just really powerful aliens. Quick
thing. You mentioned, especially because you mentioned the one with the Greek gods. Have you seen, there's a 10-episode series on YouTube made by, and see, here we go. I can't remember the guy's name, but he does the stage Star Trek stuff. He plays Captain Kirk. And he and Grant Uehara from Mythbusters plays Sulu in this.
Oh, really?
And it's a whole series, but it's the continuing voyages of that crew. And they introduce Ship Shrink, too.
Right.
Kind of like Counselor Troy.
Sure.
And they go back and they see them, those gods again.
Oh, really?
In one of the, I think it's the first, second episode. It's really good. I thought it was really well done. It kind of gives me a little shiver because it's very similar.
I'll have to check that out, dude, because that sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. And there's 10 episodes. I had them on my computer. I could have just thrown them up on fucking Dropbox for you, and you just could have scooped them from there, but I got rid of them a while back. But
gotcha.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, you know, Star Trek, I was glued on the TV with Star Trek. That made a big impression on me. We're the same age, so we must have hit Cosmos at approximately the same time development. Speaking.
Yep. I got that for like my 7th or 8th birthday, I think.
Yeah, dude. My parents,
something like that.
My parents were very religious, but they gave me stuff like the hardcover version of Cosmos.
Sweet.
And a set of encyclopedias too.
Oh yeah.
And let me tell you, children, those of you who were born after the internet age, what we did was, this is what geeks did, at least, or nerds, or at least this nerd, that's what I can say confidently, is that I would just kind of like browse through the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and just spend hours doing that.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, I was keen to learn stuff. And obviously you go to the library and you pull out those long drawers with the cards to find your favorite author and stuff like that. And now it's just a mouse click away. And
you know, the library had all that forbidden knowledge, right? The Time Life books on the occult.
Yep. Yeah. As I got into that shit too.
Sure.
For a while.
Yeah. I mean, I think that a lot of people, from my discussions with people at least, people go from more restrictive faith to less restrictive faith, typically. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't do the job, they go into full-blown atheism.
Oh, yeah.
And along that path, I went through, you know, I had a Buddhist phase. I went through this deist phase. I did all this kind of different stuff. And eventually I became an agnostic atheist. And what was really interesting is that I didn't become an advocate or a very strong voice that, you know, an advocate for this kind of thing until my children were born. And that was a life-changing event for me.
Oh, no doubt.
That's when I started my blog. That's when I started writing seriously. And that got me really focused and drilling down into the material. Yeah.
I bet. I don't have kids, at least not that I know of.
Right.
But
you're
I've lived
vicariously. What you are.
Well, I live vicariously through my multitude of sisters. See, I was adopted at birth.
Oh, I was adopted too, dude.
And I found my biological family, and I ended up with 2 full-blooded sisters. My folks ended up getting married. But since then, my biological mom has passed away. She had an embolism. Yeah. And then my sister, my youngest sister, Trina, was killed in a motorcycle accident. So, yeah. And of course, my adopted dad passed away from cancer, as I was telling you about earlier. Right. So, but I still have my biological dad, and I still have my mom, my adopted mom, and I still have my sister I grew up with and my oldest sister, Deanna, who's literally a year younger than I am. So yeah, and they all have tons of kids, and then their kids have kids, and I'm surrounded by kids all the time. But I like kids, so if I could have been a dad, I probably should have, right? But
I'm not a person to shit you over whether or not to put the gun barrel in your mouth. Neil, I'm not that guy.
Okay.
You look at all these statistics, right, that show you that what makes you happy: drugs, sex, basically fun. It's just going to tell you that, you know what? The research says that having fun is fun. And you know what isn't fun? Having kids. You know why? Because kids are work. They steal all your drugs and your booze. They do. They will, and then they'll blame you for it and bitch their therapist about their stuff. So basically, hot tip: children work. That's what it is.
Evil. No, they're not evil. I'm kidding.
No, they're not evil. They're not evil. I have two. I have a 17-year-old boy and a 14-year-old, and so I'm towards the end of the road, or somewhat towards the end of the road, at least in terms of the high school years.
Yep. Yeah.
So
17-year-olds should be graduating, no?
What's that? Oh yeah. Well, because of the lockdown and everything's pretty crazy over here. So I don't even know what they're gonna do, Neil. I don't even know what they're going to do. I mean, they're supposed to be doing some online classes, but it's just simply pass or fail. So I feel like my son, when he graduates this year, there's just going to be an asterisk next to his name.
Sure. Yeah.
Like he didn't take steroids or anything, but he didn't really finish. He didn't do like the regular high school.
Right. Can you take steroids for school? I didn't like brain steroids, like that limitless drug or something.
Oh yeah, that stuff that doesn't work. Sure, I guess you could.
Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, the homeopathy shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny whenever a commercial for something like that is on TV and I'm watching TV with the kids, I'll be like, you see that little bit there underneath? It says FDA hasn't approved this for anything. That tells you that it doesn't really work. It's more like just a placebo, something that doesn't work. But if you put enough faith into it, maybe it will. I mean, I don't know.
Yes, faith. Yeah, another useless thing. Anyway, so yeah. When you see the disclaimers underneath there, the alarm bells should be going off.
Oh yeah, yeah. There are telltale signs there.
Yeah, I love those ones that say may cause death. Oh, great.
Right. Well, yeah, those are the real drugs, right? I mean, the real drugs will kill you. The real drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably don't have drug commercials up in Canada, right?
Oh yeah, we do.
Oh, you do, huh? Interesting.
Well, don't forget, we get all the American channels.
Oh, I'm sorry
plus
to hear that.
Our shitty Canadian channels.
Right.
But we do get them. And kids, don't do drugs unless it's weed. Weed's okay.
Yeah. Is that really? You ask any hardcore addict, they'll tell you, Dale, weed is not a drug.
Weed, it's the gateway drug. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Just ask Nancy Reagan.
Who would have thought that things would just get constantly worse? I mean, it isn't constantly worse. I mean, there was Obama, right? But yeah, and Clinton, not as bad as Reagan or Bush.
Yeah, Clinton played the saxophone.
Yeah. At least he made you feel good when he was fucking you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the music makes it okay.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, having kids, it just made me into a militant agnostic atheist. And yes, you can be a militant agnostic atheist, I believe.
Sure. Yeah. You can be extreme no matter which position you take.
Right, you can be.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much my journey. There was some issues with penises, of course, because of Christianity. I had anxiety dreams about actually being, a sexual being. So that was fascinating. Mm-hmm. I gave up masturbation for Jesus that one time. That idea, it didn't take. I just want to share that. Giving up masturbation for Jesus, it does not work. I
don't give that shit up for anybody.
Oh yeah.
Well, unless somebody volunteers to replace you know what I mean. But anyways, we're not going to go there.
No. Someone just asked me, Diablo, who I met over at the Guild of Inquiry. Did you or Chris M ask Christopher when he was in terms of? Oh no, I think where Christopher was from the Guild of Inquiry. I don't think we talked. I was on the Guild of Inquiry show. I don't know, last week, and we were just talking about shit basically. I think that's what Diablo was talking about there in the chat.
All I've seen from Diablo mostly is anyone play Diablo 2?
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking to myself, that's an odd question coming from a guy whose name is Diablo 2 Central.
Well, he obviously likes Diablo 2.
I think maybe a little. Just funning with you, Diablo. It's okay. Right. You can punch me later. So, like, when you kind of fell out of the faith,
yeah,
did any family members, were there anyone upset with you? Did you lose any friends over this kind of thing?
Well, this is a very interesting question. I'm glad you asked that, Neil, because there was a moment that my sexuality intersected with my views on God, and that was when I discovered, and it was discovery, right? Because Christianity has a way of confusing your brain. I discovered that I'm bisexual, and I was in a relation, and I I was in a relationship with a guy for like a year and a half. Oh, okay. I was in a relationship. I am in a relationship with a woman, and I was married to a woman for 20 years. But yeah, that was pretty much a crystallizing moment for me about who I am in the world and who I am within the family, and it blew up horribly. So I basically didn't talk to my parents for a year and a half or so.
Wow.
In this relationship with him. Yeah. So
wow. How did they take that? Like, I guess they weren't.
It was interesting because, my family was kind of like taken from the pages of a Tennessee Williams play. It was a fairly dysfunctional thing. It was a fairly dysfunctional. You talk to any comedian, Neil, and you're going to start hearing about all these crazy stories about cops coming to your house or crazy stories. You talk to any one of us. So
I'm not a comedian, and I've had the cops drop by my place a few times in my day.
Okay. So you understand the basic dynamics.
Some people think I'm funny.
Right.
Mostly my mom.
Oh, that's good. At least you get the support. At least you have support there. Well, I mean, you came from the Jewish tradition, right?
Correct. Yep.
So they're much more funny friendly than the Baptists.
Yeah, indeed. I'd say a good at least half of the Canadians out there are Jews.
Yeah, exactly.
Sarah Silverman, Gilbert Gottfried. I mean, we could go on, right?
Oh, yeah. And those of us who aren't Jewish are kind of Jew envious, to tell you the truth.
Jew envy.
Jew envy, right?
Yeah.
That actually appreciates humor.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I fell in love with a guy. Lasted for a year and a half. It blew up horribly with my parents, and so that's. And like I said, I was the good child out of the two of us. My sister, who was older, adopted, but not from the same birth family.
Okay.
She had a variety of different issues. And so in a strange way, even though things went sideways between my parents and I was still considered the good one, Neil, even during the troubles.
Really?
Yeah.
Apparently, someone else is vouching for my sense of humor. So there you go.
Yeah, you're funny, dude.
Most of the time.
Yeah, well, that's all.
Even more of these, and they'll be hilarious.
Well, at least you will think so. That's the thing, right?
Yeah. Alcohol-induced comedy.
Right.
Well, it's only number 2 because I've only been able to put one away while I was eating that Greek food I was telling you about earlier. So.
Right. Greek food. My girlfriend just cooked me a meal. And it was really good.
Nice.
Mushroomy chicken thing. So yeah.
Sure. Rub it in. Sure. I got to skip the dishes.
Well, what's funny is that she got to see me think of a joke, write down the joke. She actually got to work the joke with me for about a couple of minutes, and then she got to see me tweet the joke, Facebook post the joke, and so that's what we were doing while she was cooking me a meal. And yes, this is my way of sabotaging relationships, if that's what you're wondering. This is the way how I go about sabotaging relationships.
You should probably clarify something, because you said while she was cooking me.
Oh, she was cook. Yes, that's right. She was cooking. She was cooking for me. I guess that's what I want to say. Right?
Cooking me a meal, or cooking me a dinner.
Cooking me a meal. Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. Right.
Because you're Central Time, correct?
I am Eastern Time. Oh, what I like to call Imperial Time, because
Imperial.
I'm a Bostonian. We all think that everything rolls around Boston. You know, the Prime Meridian, not really important.
It's like Toronto here being the center of the universe in Canada.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah. Goddamn fucking Maple Leafs. Anyway, so as soon as you said Imperial, I was waiting for that little, like the old commercial with the little crown pop on top of your head.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm full of these old TV commercial sub references, so they might fly out at any time.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I too survived my childhood by watching a lot of TV, as well as reading through my encyclopedia sets. So hey,
right, TV and encyclopedias. What better way to learn back in the 70s, 80s?
Exactly, especially when you're a little high strung and you're thinking you go outside the house for like 2 seconds and a bee's going to sting you. You know, a bee never stung me. But I kept on watching these cartoons. And from what I gathered from cartoons, bees are just waiting to swarm you for no apparent reason. And they're very spiteful creatures.
Yep. And if you go underwater, they'll hang around forever until you can't breathe anymore, right? And if you use a little straw, they go right in the straw.
So I got into these arguments with my mother, when I was a young kid about bees, about how they would get me. And she was trying to say, no, they're not going to get you. It's like, I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
I'm not going to type. I'll just Diablo out to know why I have 604 in my name.
Oh, what do you have 604 in your name?
604 is the area code for Vancouver, British Columbia. It's the original area code.
Oh.
So that's why. Well, they didn't change it. It's still 604, but they've added new ones because of the population density.
Oh, sure.
Now, 604 was almost everything in BC, but then they made it just the Lower Mainland. Now everything outside of the Lower Mainland is 250, and now they've got now they got cell phones where they have a couple new area codes called 778 or whatever, right? So, but I was born and raised here, so I went with the 604 Atheist because I was literally born in Vancouver. So
very cool. So, is there still a lot of are there still a lot of films and TV shows being filmed up in Vancouver?
Supergirl, Arrow until they canceled it. The Flash, Supernatural. There's tons of them.
Supernatural.
All those DC shows are filmed here, except for Titans and Doom Patrol. I think Titans and Doom Patrol are filmed elsewhere. And Black Lightning. Although they now put Black Lightning in the same universe as Flash and Arrow and all those guys because of that Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover thing they did.
Right. So how was the Crisis? How did that? Because I read through the comics when I was a kid, right? The Crisis.
Yeah, me too.
Which I thought was a fantastic series.
It was mind-boggling.
How did that translate onto the small screen?
It was very different. Very different. I mean, of course, because they didn't have and really they showed the Titans. They flashed to a Batman scene. They kind of, because they don't really have the rights to put them on TV, sort of. Sure. They have to have characters playing Bruce Wayne, but they can't really show Batman, or all they could do, the best they could do is like a shadow of his ears or something. So, but now they have Batwoman. She was introduced during the Crisis thing. Cool. So, so basically it was just the shows that they had. They even pulled Black Lightning in, and that's how he ended up in the CW world, or the Arrowverse, we'll call it. Which is what they call it. And then they got Legends of Tomorrow, right? With Captain Cold and Heatwave and all them. So, and all of them were involved in this except Captain Cold, because he left the show. But they do have now they have what's his name, the Constantine.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah, he's on
Hellblazer.
Yeah, Hellblazer, which was a great series, phenomenal series. I loved that. Was one of my favorites actually back in the day. And the Watchmen too. And the Watchmen was bought out, I think, by DC at some point. So now everyone used to say, well, Superman's the most powerful hero in the DC universe, which I think he was for the longest time. But now Dr. Manhattan could just go snap his fingers and Superman ceases to exist, pretty much.
And it's been within our lifetimes that they decrease Superman's power to make him more accessible to people. Because you remember, I don't know if you ever read any of those Golden Age comics. They just made up superpowers for Superman, right? Yep. It was such lazy writing. I remember one comic that they had to give a reason why no one knew he was Clark Kent when he took off the glasses. And so the reason that they gave was that Superman has this psychic power to cloud people's brains. So when he takes off when he puts the glasses on, he looks like a weakling. Normal humans' eyes. Right. It's like, you just make shit up. You just it's like the Bible or something, Neil, right?
Exactly.
It's like, we're just going to make stuff up.
Yep. We'll make it sound good and sound legit because we'll put like historical locations in it to make it all sound good.
Right.
Well, except in DC, Metropolis doesn't exist. Gotham doesn't exist.
Right.
But really, those are Metropolis is literally New York, and Gotham is literally like Chicago. So
sure.
Something along those lines. Anyways,
what did you think about the Joker movie?
The newest one?
Yeah, the Joker. Yeah.
Dark.
Yeah.
Good. Really, a total brain trip. That's for sure. I mean, it was pretty dark, though. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Oh, so did I. I saw it 3 times in the theater because I have kids, and so even though my kids are older, I don't want to bring them to a movie that has like a crazy amount of titties in it. Because I don't want to be with my kids when there's like a tit fest going on or something that I would feel embarrassed about. So what I'll do is that I'll see a movie first if it looks kind of sketchy. And then I'll be like, oh, I can see this with the kids. That's not a problem. And then I'll bring my kids with me. But I ended up seeing it 3 times because it was an impulse view the first time. Then my girlfriend was kind of felt left out. And so I saw it with her, and I saw it with my kids after that. So I saw it 3 times in the theater. It was pretty much a slice of magic there.
Yeah, I see. It's funny because a lot of times, like I was briefly married, and she had a couple of kids, so I would take the kids to the movies all the time because I wanted to see, like Pixar stuff.
Sure.
But I don't want to walk in there by myself, right? So I've got kids now. I can take the kids. Right? So I always had them as an excuse to go see those kinds of movies. Mind you, nowadays I go to those movies anyways, but because a lot of my other adult children want to go see them too, like my friends. I mean.
Right.
Literally, right. I have a T-shirt that says I'm not like most teens. I'm in my 50s. So
sweet, dude. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. My friend Peter liked that shirt so much. I said, well, Pete's birthday's coming up soon, so I bought one and shipped it to him. So
very cool. So what's your favorite Pixar movie?
My favorite Pixar movie? That's a good question. I like The Incredibles.
Oh yeah, dude, that's great. Yeah.
Both of them actually are really funny, and I like Finding Nemo.
Yeah, Finding Nemo. I will have to admit, I've never seen Finding Nemo.
What?
I know, right? It's
great.
I've heard nothing but good things about it, but I have not seen it.
Oh, and the original Toy Story is really good. The other ones are subpar to the original, in my opinion, but they're still entertaining.
I believe Joss Whedon wrote the script for the original Toy Story movie.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you are right, yeah.
And I think he won something for it, some kind of award. For like best script or something like that at the Oscars. That's part of my Whedon knowledge rolling around the back of my head somewhere.
Well, my favorite thing he ever did. I mean, I know you're a Buffy guy, but for me it was what the hell? Here we go again.
You get the Firefly.
That's it. Firefly.
Yeah. Because you strike me as a Firefly guy.
Oh yeah, Firefly was great.
Right.
And I didn't watch it when it originally aired. Because I don't know. I think it's because I missed the first few episodes. I thought, when this first season ends, I'll check it out after. We'll binge them, and ended up getting canceled, of course.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Fuck! I got to watch this now." So I watched it, and as soon as I hit the end of it, I'm like, "Damn it! They had to cancel this." And then I went and saw the movie. Of course, Serendipity.
They didn't have to cancel it. They just got canceled it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why they did, because I thought it was really well done. It was a nice little mix of like Western and space,
Yeah, dude, definitely. My girlfriend and I are binging through True Blood right now. I've never seen True Blood. besides the first 2 or 3 episodes. And so we're going through that right now. And so I think after True Blood, she's never seen Adventure Time, nor has she ever been exposed to Adventure Time.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, she's, my girlfriend's an adult and does adult things, and she doesn't have any kids. So, like,
we all have kids inside us, man. Come on.
Well, yes, yeah. So she never saw Sunny in Philadelphia either. So we binged watched all 13 seasons of Sunny in Philadelphia.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's freaking.
I've heard, but I've got so many on my plate. I just started Vikings, for crying out loud. Let me catch up.
Vikings. Yeah, I've heard good things about Vikings. Right.
It's good. It's really good so far. I really like it.
Yeah. My 14-year-old is really into some Viking anime, Vinland or something. I don't even know what the
I think I know the one you mean, because I do anime as well. I like that stuff.
There's a young kid, a young boy. There's knives. There are axes. It's
as with any anime,
historically accurate with the Danelaw there going on in England. But
I know that one too.
Yeah, I don't even know the name of it. She made me watch through a couple of episodes of it, which it wasn't bad.
Your wife?
Oh no, my daughter. My daughter made me watch a couple of episodes of this.
Almost slipped up there. My girl. Yeah. Oh, I mean, hope she's not watching.
Right. Hey, thank you for supporting my Patreon by putting that plug in there, Inquisitive Quandary. That was very generous of you.
Oh, he's putting he's my moderator extraordinaire. Almost everyone in my chat has a wrench, mind you, but he's the one that posts all the links.
Oh, that's great. I am a one-person operation, and I just spend a lot of my time just like hustling and grinding between the blog, the YouTube channel, whatever the hell else I do, and promoting everything.
Well, that's why I'll always put as many links that I know of or can find. I'll always put in the description box for the people that I have on the show for sure.
That's great. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, hey, it's my job, man.
Help spread
the love, right? So.
That's great.
It's not actually my job. I'm actually a chemist for an environmental company.
Oh, dude, that's great.
My real job.
So you got your undergraduate in chemistry?
No. I literally, I never got a degree for chemistry. I took it in post-secondary, like in college,
right?
And I never made it all the way through.
Yep.
But when I started with some years after, I started with a company where chemistry was necessary. So I took some more organic chemistry. I took some there, never finished the course there because I left the job. And then when I got hired with these new guys, they said, well, we'll get you what they call an equivalency.
Oh, yeah.
Diploma sort of thing. So I ended up taking some more courses in organic chemistry there. And then, of course, I took courses on how to run all the machines that we have in the lab and stuff like that, like the ICAP and the why do I never remember this shit? Chromatography, that kind of shit.
Oh, right.
So I have to look at samples of oils and fuels and antifreezes and stuff like that to find out if there are heavy metals like selenium, vanadium, that kind of thing.
Sure.
I look for PCB contamination in waste oil because sometimes we'll get electric oil or transformer oil, which is the one that usually has a PCB contamination. And you can have up to 2 parts per million of PCB before it becomes dangerous, right? Cancer causing.
Right.
So I run that through chromatography. And for the metals, I run it through the ICAP because that's inductively compulsed plasma. So it basically nebulizes the once you break the sample down, it turns it into almost a clear liquid, and then it nebulizes that, and it uses the light spectrum to show where the metals are.
Oh, right.
Because every element falls on a different part of the spectrum.
Sure.
So it'll tell you the amounts. And it's really cool because when you're looking at this screen through the little viewer and you can see the light spectrum, most of it's usually in the red spectrum.
Yeah.
But it's like you're looking in space. It's like looking at stars and stuff. It's just bizarre. Sure. It's really cool. But anyway, yeah, that's what I do. And then I also recycle waste antifreeze into new antifreeze.
Really?
And then I make new antifreeze out of the recycled glycol, and I add all the chemical add packs and the Bitrex, which is the stuff we now put in antifreeze so that animals don't drink it, and antifoams so it doesn't blow up your engine.
You might find this surprising, but I've never really given antifreeze a lot of thought.
Probably because it comes in the vehicle and it pretty much can last the lifetime of the vehicle that you own, right?
Yeah.
It's good for well over 500,000 kilometers nowadays. So
Sure.
Or in American, that's 300 and something thousand miles. So there you go.
I saw someone's from Scotland. I think it was Alistair, Max something or other. My ex-wife is from Scotland. Her dad hails from Balhoolish, and her mom is right outside of Edinburgh. Came from outside of Edinburgh on Burt Island. So I don't know if you're anywhere in that area, Alistair, but I saw you. I saw you commenting that you're from Scotland.
Alistair McCallum or McCallium or McCallum.
Yes, however you pronounce that name.
Well, just remember, if it's not Scottish, it's crap.
Crap. That's right. See. You're starting to perceive the fact that I'm just wearing my pajamas basically here because I have the shirt on and I have an exposed knee. So I'll just
have a shirt on too, but mine's got Evil Spock on it. So
Evil Spock, obviously the best Spock of all. Evil Spock.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mirror episode.
Mirror. Yeah, that was great. Alternate universe and everything.
Yeah. Then they carry the whole idea on to the other series too, eventually, which was cool. I thought, especially the Deep Space Nine ones, where they had evil Cisco and who was just really a laughing drunk for the most part.
Maybe I'm an evil version of myself, Neil. Maybe that's what I am. I'm just an evil version of myself.
If there's another me, he's probably a real prick.
Oh yeah.
Because I just play one on the internet.
Nice.
But anyway, I used to be an asshole, but now I just play one on TV.
Right.
Yeah. So all right. So let's get into the laughing and disbelief stuff because we've got about 20 minutes left. So I'd like to cover that for a little bit.
Sure, dude. Laughing and Disbelief. I started blogging under Laughing in Purgatory, which was just a Blogspot blog. I blogged there for a number of years.
On Pathos, right?
This was just on Blogspot before I got picked up by Pathos. For maybe 3 or 4 years on my own, screaming into the darkness, into the internet darkness, and getting some traction, but not a lot of traction. Then Dale McGowan, who runs the non-religious channel on the Pathos, basically said, Andy Hall, no one else wants to do this comedy channel, this comedy blog on the non-religious channel for Pathos. And I said, well, I guess I'll do it then, Neil. I just said I'll just do it.
Wait. So they had an open comedy spot on there?
They did have an open comedy spot, and by default, I got it. And sometimes it's just like that. I knew Dale because I would comment on his blog, and he knew of me, and he knew I wasn't unfunny. I don't know, whatever that means. He knew that I could basically throw the humor if necessary.
Sure.
And so I just started doing that right after I got divorced, which was probably about 5 years ago or so. And I've just been spinning the funny over that. Most people probably have seen my pieces, though you may not recognize them. I write satirical pieces. If you hear anything about Iceland, maybe.
I've seen some of your stuff and the Iceland one, and yeah, I was actually, you mentioned the Iceland one, which is kind of funny because I was actually looking through that or reading that, and I'm cracking up, and my partner at work walks in and goes, "What the fuck are you laughing at?" Because we had just talked about something quite serious. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, "Oh, here, read this," and he started reading it, and he thought it was pretty good too. So.
That's great. I appreciate that. So, I've had Richard Dawkins comment and retweet my material.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I wrote a piece about Mississippi illegalizing, or Richard Dawkins basically
making him illegal.
Right. So, I post every day on the Pathos blog, pretty much every day. And you can sometimes twice a day, and you can usually find a funny there. At least I hope so.
You can. I can vouch for him. Okay, I've been on the Pathos site and seen his stuff because I go on Pathos and I read you guys. I heard you had multiple personalities. No, I'm just kidding.
That's
but
right.
anyways, I read your stuff. I read Godless Mom. I read Hemet Meta.
Yeah.
And a few others as well. So,
well, I think reading Hemet's kind of mandatory at this point, right? I mean, the Friendly Atheist is such a mainstay within the community. I think they'll take your atheist card away if
you don't.
Yeah,
right, exactly. It's to the point now where all of your guys' stuff comes up in my email.
Oh,
So
wow.
and so just posted in Pathos. Yeah, right on. Something to do.
That's great.
Cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
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 I was co-host to the Naked Diner podcast with Jack Materko, who's a Satanist. He belongs to the Satanic Temple, and he also blogs on Pathos. And we did a podcast together for a number of years. He just had a child, so we're basically on sabbatical right now. So,
Sure.
but I talked to him, and on the podcast, I talked to a bunch of people that I had no right to talk to on the podcast.
I got Hammett coming up in May, actually.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Good
Yeah.
guy.
You know, I also have Bogosian scheduled, but
Yep. Yeah.
but
Peter.
I'm going to cancel that.
Oh, really?
He posted something the other day, and if I can find it real quick here, I'll read it out. That just it infuriated me.
Infuriated. I am intrigued.
Yes. Let me see if I can find this. It was about people putting pronouns in their bio.
Yep.
Which I do.
Sure.
Because I have 3 relatives that are part of the LGBTQ community and multiple friends that are part of that community.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
And I do it to show solidarity and to help normalize it.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I understand.
Because, these people are still marginalized.
Oh, that's true.
And we got to stand behind them. So,
yeah.
And he posted this. Fuck, I got to find it, though. It's pretty nasty. Let me see. Yeah. Peter, where are you? There we go. Sorry for this silence there, guys. Tell him a joke or something.
Tell him a joke. Let's see. Well,
never mind. I found it. Hang on.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. I don't have to tell a joke now. Okay, good.
Well,
I'll tell you the joke anyway. You asked me to tell you the joke. So I don't even know if it's a great joke. This is the joke I was working with my girlfriend on. It's like the days of quarantine. The deeper I go into these days of quarantine, the more I realize it feels like being at Denny's at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm drinking coffee. I'm drunk, and I'm fighting with my girlfriend, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that's fuck. Holy crap! You just actually literally took me back to the days of Denny's.
Yeah.
Sitting up at the counter.
I love my Denny's. I love diners. There's a 24-hour diner in Boston called the South Street Diner. There are not many 24-hour diners left in the area. But if you're in the Boston area when the quarantine's lifted, of course, head over to the South Street Diner and they'll treat you right.
Cool. Well, if I'm ever in the area, which I do hope to at some point, I'll definitely do that. I'll come hang out at your place. We can drink.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely. I'm in Somerville. I'm like the next town over. So.
Okay, that's funny because my biological dad lives in a place called Summerland, right next to Godless Mom.
Awesome.
Right? So I get to see her when I go up there. Okay, so here's what Mr. Bogosian posted. When someone puts pronouns in their bio, it is not to indicate their gender identity. It actually is, Peter. They're signaling a political position and a worldview. It is negative, hostile, and rage-filled. Rage. I remember typing that in and going, he, him.
I think that's that sounds very straw-man-y to me.
It sure as fuck does.
It does sound very straw-man-y.
And far more often than not, it is an indication that their moral reasoning has been damaged. Ta-da!
Wow, that's I would just I wouldn't have them. There are people who I could have had on the Naked Diner and my other show. There are people who I could have had on. I could have had Jordan Peterson on. I was one of his students back in the day, and I realized I couldn't have him on because I would just spend an hour just like arguing with the guy, and I don't want to spend my time like arguing till I'm blue in the face with someone. I'm not going to change their opinion. But Bogosian, yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and it's fucked because I know not everyone likes the guy, but I've been noticing a trend with him. He's just been slowly sliding down to the more far right, it seems, these days. I have both of his books, and I appreciate what he writes in the books because I like SE, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a great way to have these, as his last book quotes, impossible conversations. And that's kind of why I wanted to have him on. We were going to talk about his book. Definitely. He actually gave me homework. He's like, make sure you read my book before I'm on there. I'm like, what am I, Merv Griffin? Yeah, fuck, I'll read it. No problem.
Yeah.
But Geo Sam says I would ask Bogosian about that. And I'm going to email him because I'm going to say, look, dude, I'm canceling our show.
Yeah.
Because I really don't like that. That's literally is like a slap in the face to the entire community and the people that support them. And that to me is just legit. Right. So I can still respect his work, but I don't have to respect him as a person.
Well, it's like Sam Harris said about people's opinions, about their irrational opinions. It's like it's like the brain is like a big card. I'm going to show my age. A big card catalog, and you could put all the crazy stuff into these little containers, these little slidey parts, these drawers, and you can just function as a non-crazy person for most of your life until you open that drawer up, and then it's like, oh, look at all this crazy right here. Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
No, that's just how the human mind is. And, with these politics and with the election coming on, people should really be mindful. And I'm going to should right now. Yeah, I just said should. Should really be mindful of how politics makes us all dumber and meaner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It can have that effect on us. Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, because it's just tribalism. The election season is like we're all mainlining tribalism. And that is one of the evolutionary sins of the species right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's so easy to fall into that, though, as a human, right? Because we've been doing it since we were here, pretty much.
Well, that's our default setting, isn't it? Our default setting is toxically
so.
Stupid. That's the species' default setting is toxically stupid, and that's why I love writing satire so much. I just like pointing it out in so many different ways, Neil. So many different ways.
You do it really well too. I got to tell you. Anyway, so. Do you actually get up and do any stand-up or anything like that?
I was doing stand-up regularly, but then I got divorced. My schedule changed. I work nights now, to tell you the truth. I work with people who have disabilities.
Oh, wow. That's really admirable.
Thank you. And I've been doing it for well over 20 years since I got out of college. I have an undergraduate degree in psychology. Did some graduate work in psychology. And so the way that I was able to see my kids during the day is by doing these crazy night shifts and everything. I am able to get some sleep during these night shifts. So that's what makes me functional.
That's good.
So yes. So working at nights gets in the way of comedy. If there's an opportunity for me to go out, if I'm invited, like I was invited to a charity event a couple of months ago that unfortunately had to cancel because there was just lack of support for it. It was something about cancer survivors, charity event for that. But so if there was something like that, I performed over at the MIT secular group, maybe, a while back, and had a great time with those guys.
I bet.
Yeah. So yes, I do have material, and the material doesn't suck if I do say so myself.
It's good that you said that, because a lot of people say, I think I'm funny, because we're our own worst critics, right? Like when I get up and do our music and I get up and sing, I'm like, I guess that was okay. And people come up to me and go, fuck, dude, that was awesome. I'm like, thanks. But, like I said, we're our own worst critics. So I always think I'm mediocre at best, right? So,
well, you really have to follow the data. If we're all going to be skeptics, we have to be able to follow the data, even when it supports our pre-existing beliefs or they undermine our pre-existing, thoughts about things. So some people think they're really funny until they get up on fucking stage. And then guess what? Maybe you're not as funny as you. Maybe you've Dunning-Krugered yourself with this whole comedy thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe you have to try it a few more times before getting into the not sucking stage.
Or hone the skill a little, maybe.
Yeah, well, it is. It's a definite skill set.
Oh shit, yeah, it is, absolutely. To be able to come up, I consider myself to be pretty quick-witted when the time is right, but that's not an easy thing to do, and it literally took me years to be able to master the wit without getting punched, right?
Yeah. Well, you got to be able to read the room, Neil. I mean, the idea of not getting punched in the face is being able to read the room and knowing what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Exactly. You don't get coffee mugs thrown at you or beer steins or something.
So Julie LaVoice, I was just looking at your comment. Can we call a community about tribalism? Yeah, sure. We can have community without tribalism. The thing is, and I think this is the real danger, of course, is that whenever you get too many of us monkeys together, that we fall into group thinking. And I think the data shows that there are ways institutions can fight against group thinking. That there are ways to keep people from following each other off the cliff. But those, I think, have to be baked in to whatever community you're in.
Yep, good old lemming syndrome.
Yeah.
All right, so before I guess we close out the show, let's because Andy and I are both fans of Rush, and we were talking about.
Oh yeah, dude. Neil Peart. How fucking horrible was that, huh?
Yeah, I know. When he passed away.
Yeah.
We every time one of our favorite musicians or even an actor will say passes away, we have this little point here that goes where the river splits, and there's these nice trees, and there's always eagles sitting up there. Nice. So we go down there, and there's a nice little bench. We bring a little portable stereo, and we play tunes of the deceased, and we drink and cheers them and stuff like that. And we spent the longest time just saluting an ex of our favorite musicians was the Neil Peart one. So we set out that we played Rush tunes till the sunset.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And we did the same for Tom Petty as well, because I was
Tom
a big Tom
Petty.
Petty.
Jeez, he died way too early. Yeah.
And Chris Cornell for Soundgarden.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
These are some great musicians.
Yeah, I went to I think my first Rush concert I went to was during Power Windows during the 80s.
Mm.
And every single time they toured, I'd see one of their shows, maybe two of their shows. Always put on great live performances. Always played for like 3 hours.
Yep. Well, they have enough material.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. and I like them consistently in every stage too. So there are some Rush fans who just like them in the motion picture stage, or
pre-signals, right?
Pre-signals, right? Pre-signals. I like the synth pop too. But I just like them because of the lyrics. I like them because of the message, and I just like the whole package. To tell you the truth.
Me too. I did when I worked I worked for a company called Sam the Record Man here in Canada, and a lot of people who live here will know exactly what I'm talking about. Sam had this great big sign out front with two giant neon records and a big Sam over top. But anyways, I worked in the Vancouver location and the Richmond location, and Rush came in to sign autographs one year, so I got to meet them. And Neil was really quiet, but he's super nice. Alex Lifeson was kind of a chatterbox, but he's also really nice. But Geddy was kind of a dick.
Really?
Now, I always say, you got to give people more than one chance, because it could have been a really bad day for the guy, right?
Sure.
But he was really, don't you know who I am? Get out of my way, kind of a dick. Same with Bryan Adams. He's kind of a dick too. But anyways.
Interesting.
Actually, I would say he's even more so than Geddy. But I've seen Geddy in other situations where he's been just totally fine, which is why I thought something was wrong that day.
Nobody bats 1,000. Nobody bats 1,000.
That's right. Oh fuck off, Cyrus. Just got notification that Cyrus went live or something.
Oh yeah, Kenny Rogers passed too recently too.
Yeah. Oh, and of course, just the other day. I can't remember. See, this whole memory thing. See, you went down the memory wormhole, or is that what they call them? Wormhole? Something like that.
We'll call
rabbit
it that.
hole.
We'll call
sure.
Rabbit worm. It's a wormy rabbit, rabbity worm. I don't know.
Rabbity wormhole. We're kind of sciencey guys, so wormhole works.
Sure.
Yeah. Shit, just died the other day. Come on, you guys. He was a country.
Oh, that guy. He was on
John Prine.
Yeah. He was on Maron's show, Mark Maron's WTF and Maron. I didn't see the show, or I didn't re-listen to the show, but yeah, he died recently, like within the last 2 weeks or something like that, right?
Yeah. Ask Christopher about wormholes. Why? What do you know about wormholes, man? They're all portals to his bedroom. Yeah, there they go. It was John Prine.
Oh, okay. I saw Tom Petty with Bob Dylan back in the day. Tom Petty was
very cool.
Band. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Really, the backup band.
Yeah, wow. Well, he had, Mr. Dylan had quite a few very popular bands. He had the Byrds, right? The Byrds was his backup band for a while. And yeah, what they did during the show is that Tom Petty would play for half the show, and then there would be his backup band there'd be Dylan's backup band for the other half of the show. It was pretty cool.
Mm. Well, plus Dylan and him were in the Traveling Wilburys together.
Oh, of course. Who could forget the Traveling freaking Wilburys, right? With
Those guys are awesome.
Orbison.
Roy Orbison.
His voice of an angel. That was fantastic.
Yeah, he had one of the best for sure back in the day. Well, sir, we're getting pretty damn close to the top of the hour. So why don't you say we drag all this kind of talk into an after party? You said you were down.
Yeah, man.
That, so.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm in for the duration.
Oh, nice. That's good, because I still got a couple more in my little trusty cooler here, which has this, not that sticker, this sticker. No gods, no masters.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got a couple more in here, and I can always throw extra ones. But I'm going to take a quick smoke break, and then I'll send you a fresh new link.
All right, so I'll keep an eye on Twitter for the new link.
Indeed you shall. And Andrew, man, it's fucking great finally having you on, dude, and getting to chat with you, because I've interacted with you that you didn't notice because you couldn't hear me because I was watching you on YouTube. Oh yeah, Andrew, cheering you on Chris's show.
Thanks, I appreciate the support.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest, dude, I didn't really know anything about you until Chris's show, and that's why I had to go over to your blog.
I'm one of those guys that people that know my work, but they don't know me. And
is that what it is?
Yeah, because writers and pose and comedy, I'm typically behind the screen, and people just look at my material. And
I got you. That makes sense, actually. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Nobody really knows what the creators of Saturday Night Live look like.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Well, we know what Al Franken looks like, and he was a creator back in the day. But anyway, so yeah, all right, we're going to do that. We're going to get into an after party. So if any of you guys would like to join Andy and me for the after party, let me know through Twitter. And if you're not on Twitter, but you are friends with me on Facebook, let me know through Facebook too. I'll open up the Facebook page. I barely ever go on Facebook because it sucks ass. But anyways, it's a whole other story. Not the Twitter's much. Let's face it, guys. Social media can be vitriolic at the best of times.
Oh yeah,
but we do what we can. We try to stick to our neat little communities in our little funny echo chambers and try and raise the awareness for some love and compassion for our fellow humans, because that's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, if you're interested, let me know. Thanks again, Andy, for coming on, and thank all you guys for hanging out with us. I hope you guys had a good time as much as we did. And remember, stay safe, stay nice.
Nice. That's good. It's nice to be nice. Yeah.
Stay nice, stay safe, and treat others with respect. And then, like Christopher Hitchens always says, like I always say, at the end of these things, like the late great Christopher. I'm so troubling troth mumbles today. Like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, "It's called faith because it's not knowledge."
This is
see you guys next time.